Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I am a ignorant noob when it comes to so many things Marvel. I'm uneducated, I am unknowledgeable, and I am in desperate need of teaching, which is ironic because I'm a professor, and that implies I've got knowledge to share, which I would like to think is true from time to time, but as I always tell my students, and I will tell you all, in this game, I learn more from you than you do from me, and that is not a cliche, that is not an exaggeration. That's just the honest truth. And so I didn't know a Kindred. No clue. No clue who Kindred is. I've heard of Kindred spirits. Is that kind of like Kindred? I don't know. I just kind of gained that knowledge and then put it in the back of my head. But after today's Kabam live stream, which continues to be one of the best things that they do, and Kabam Jax is the best spokesperson for Kabam possible. It makes me angry when I see people comment like just rude things to him during live streams because I think he's doing a really good job, and I can't imagine them doing a better job than what he's doing. I also think he's not afraid to be personable and down to earth, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. Got a man crush on the guy. I'll say it. He's funny. He's smart. He's not afraid to be self-deprecating, and he's a good guy by all indications. And yes, people can fool you by looking into a web camera and sounding smarter than they are and sounding more ethical than they are, but I truly believe this guy is legit, and those are the kind of people that I want to remain friends with or be friends with long after this game is gone, long after our time on this very brief play of a planet is done. But Kindred got a little bit of detail from Kabam Jax. And one of the things he said is that he has the ability to do something really unique. I'm going to darken the screen because I'm going to pull up my notes because, yes, I take notes during live streams because I'm a huge nerd. Kindred is a Nerf counter of sorts to the best buffs of Cosmic Champions because he makes them do up to 90% less of their utility, their buffs, whatever you want to call it. He is a cosmic counter that we are used to seeing from just a select few champions of this mystic class. But it goes beyond this because we were all surprised, pleasantly surprised, when Galan was not nerfed. We thought he would be rebalanced, and we were afraid. I mean, there were people, understandably, who said, do not rank him up until his balancing information has been finalized. Because on offense, he melts everybody so quickly. All I do, and look, I'm not an expert in this game by any means, but I just do medium, light, medium until I get over those 100 battle world stacks, whatever you want to call them, and then I parry heavy to become unblockable, unstoppable, and then I'll usually do a special one, although recently in Battlegrounds, a little bit behind the scenes for my account, I fought. By the way, I went 3-0 today. I've actually gone since the season started. Oh, I've lost once. Which, by the way, shout out to Redrum666. I don't know if this person thought I was terrible. Maybe I am, but they clean sweep me, big time. Good old Hulk versus Bishop and Domino versus Nick Fury. Just ridiculous. You did amazing. But I did fight somebody who, maybe it was the first fight, was it? Yeah, he brought in his Thing, and with Galan, I was able to push Thing, and I will say it helped. I believe this summoner had ouchies, full recoil masteries on. And so Thing obviously took some recoil damage every time he used a special, and that melted him faster. But I just got to one special too, and it took out half his health once I got those stacks up. And then I was just doing medium, light, mediums to build it back up, and he got down to 5% and then recoiled himself. And I'm sure his mastery setup can be an advantage. He still put up 44,000 points, and I'm sure a lot of the health that he lost in this fight was due to recoil with Cosmic Ghost Rider. But regardless, Galan doesn't have a lot of counters yet. And so if Kabam doesn't directly nerf someone, I think that three things are going to happen. Number one, they're going to create some new nodes that nerf him or her indirectly. Number two, there's going to be a huge desire behind the scenes for Kabam to change the meta of the game away from that champion eventually. Not making them useless, but countering them to the point that they're just not somebody that you're going to bring in as often. Think about how much Ghost used to dominate the game, Corvus used to dominate the game, Blade used to dominate the game, Medusa, so on and so forth. It's not that these champions are bad. They're still great, especially for utility, but the game has evolved away from them. And so the third and final thing on this list is Kabam is going to do something. And I've said this from the beginning. Imagine, because Battlegrounds is still pretty dang young in the history of this game. Imagine if Battlegrounds existed when Nimgod came out, right? Imagine if Battlegrounds existed when Blade came out, when Black Widow Clairvoyant came out. What they're doing is they're making champions who are really, really good defenders that do unique things to indirectly nerf the best offensive champions. And they're putting them out to up the hype. We're all wondering, how's Kabam going to make money after July 4th week sales? They're going to put some of the best champions in the battle realm that we have ever seen that are overall good on offense and defense. And of course, when in doubt, if they're not the best champion, they can just make their prestige so crazy that people will go for them if they're a prestige champion. We've seen that for years. But they're going to do that to change Battlegrounds and literally make it to where if somebody has an awakened 6-star Kindred or maybe a 7-star Kindred and they bring them into Battlegrounds, especially at the top, not where I am and where I'm always going to be, because I've never made it to the victory track. I only do 3 matches every 2 days for the trophy tokens. But, they're going to be at that point where if it reminds me of Blade. Every battle group, in Alliance War, back when I did it, because Magic was the Alliance War boss, had to have at least one person who had a blade. If you had a blade, you won. If you didn't, you lost. I don't think that's going to be unique to Blade's time. I think that we're entering an age now where it might be if you've got a Kindred, you're going to win, and if you don't, you're going to lose. And I know that sounds simplistic, and maybe I'm making it too black and white for the sake of this video, but that's the argument. I believe Silk is going to be a version of that too. So, for those of you that were wondering, Galan's not being nerfed, but his counter that nerfs his abilities in a fight is coming to the contest very soon. And yes, Kabam wants you to spend a bunch of money to make that possible. So that's part of the much news of today's live stream. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.